The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
That will take many, as you know, that will take many years.
So there's two ways of looking at a tariff. You can do it as a money-making instrument, or you can do it as something to get the companies. Now, if you want the companies to come in, the tariff has to be a lot higher than 10%, because 10% is not enough. Guys, they're not going to do it for 10, but you make a 50% tariff.
Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and Trump has been arguing for a while now that he wants to use tariffs to incentivize businesses to come into America and bring a lot of manufacturing jobs to our country. However, many left-wing reporters are sounding the alarm on his tariffs, claiming that they'll wreak havoc on our economy with consumers paying higher prices. So what's the truth here? I mean, President Trump is clearly working overtime to improve the economy, pushing many bold economic strategies like tariffs and abolishing the income tax and incentivizing manufacturing relocations to the United States. And yet the Democrats and the legacy media are largely, obviously, sounding the alarm, claiming that Trump is busy wrecking the economy that Biden had supposedly rescued. Needless to say, Trump's reforms are causing the markets to, shall we say, adjust. And those incessant market gyrations, combined with the fear-mongering about Trump's policies, are leaving countless individuals, frankly, paralyzed with fear. So what should we do? Well, today we're joined by an expert who knows how to rise above all of this. Troy Noonan is here to share his insights on how to protect ourselves and our loved ones and seize opportunities amidst this uncertainty. In fact, Troy has a free online training coming up where he's going to share his amazing insights that you don't want to miss. Just click on the link below to register. Troy, welcome back. It's always great to see you, my friend.
Always love to be here, Dr. Steve. Thanks for having me again. Interesting topic.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yep.
That's right. Liberation Day, as Trump would call it. It's really interesting because I was watching a video somebody posted on X of Trump. Oh, gosh, it must have been in the 90s when he was on Oprah Winfrey, talking about how, all these countries are ripping us off and, Saudi Arabia and Qatar sending their oil here, but we don't get a dime from it. Why aren't we charging a user fee, as it were, to come into our market? So he's been pretty consistent with this. And so today, he said today is Liberation Day from the old sort of neoliberal economic order that was just absolutist in the free trade and the like. What I love about interviewing you, though, is you're kind of above all of this in the way you approach things. As I see it, we've got two overall dynamics here. We got sort of the shock to the system that Trump's strategies like tariffs and radically reducing government spending are producing. And then we've got the hysterics coming from the opposition that he's destroying the economy and yada, yada. So as someone who looks at the market every single day, what's your overall assessment? What's going on here?
Well, you want to know from a trader point of view or just a layman's person, Main Street point of view?
You decide. Maybe just as a general observer, and then get very specific as a trader.
Okay, well, whenever any headline news comes out that makes us wonder what's going to happen next, it introduces some element of uncertainty, whether it's true or not. It's how it's perceived. The markets react, and the markets are always they're forward thinking, but the price itself, the price action of, pick your favorite market, can't hide from itself. It always is what it is. And and it's always going to try to find its value. Of course, with every moment, things changing in the world, that's what causes markets to go up or down. And this is a great trading opportunity because of the gyration. Volatility in the markets creates extremely profitable trading opportunities. And so my point of view is follow the price action. I don't think anyone knows for certain what's going to happen. Those that think it's going to be great might be right. Those that think that it may not be great, they might be right. And probably somewhere in the middle is probably where the truth is, but no one knows for sure. And so markets hate uncertainty. But that's what we're faced with every day anyway. Regardless
Right.
of what comes out in the news, we don't know what's going to happen next because no one can really read the future. And this
Right.
is also what causes people problems when they try to trade on their own, is what they don't realize is when they place a trade, they're hoping something is going to happen in the future that's going to work
Right.
out for them or not. Hopefully it will. And when it doesn't go according to plan or according to how they imagine, then they start to do what human beings do and stop that uncertainty because it causes them to feel insecure. And insecure leads them to feelings of threats against their survival. It happens on a very primal basis, right? We've
Right.
talked about
Right.
this in the
Right.
past.
Right.
When we were on our cruise together, I think we got into this in great detail. And
Yeah.
so you see a lot of that now magnified because of these huge changes that are just hitting everyone all at once really fast, and it creates this huge degree of uncertainty. So,
And
yeah.
please finish. Yeah.
Well, the good news is that most of the time when the markets drop 10% ish, that, a majority of the time, that's a great time to buy because typically it rebounds and goes up a lot afterwards. Like
Right.
look what happened when COVID happened. You had the worst crash that we could remember, followed by one of the best bull markets that we can
Right.
remember instantly, right? But if you would have blinked, you would have missed it. You would have
Right.
missed the buying opportunity at when it crashed, right? Because everyone's running away from that fear, but that's actually when you got to go bargain shopping.
Yeah. That's Warren Buffett's favorite time to go shopping, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue with him.
Well, but what I love about what your approach is, it's even, are tariffs good or tariffs bad, whatever. I love the way you put it because it's almost like, well, it's the wrong question to ask. The question to ask is, how is it being perceived, for right or for wrong? And however it's perceived, the markets are going to react in accordance with that perception. So in that sense, perception is reality, isn't it?
It is, and it's fleeting. It's always changing too. So I think even taking that question, then the next one step further is, how can I benefit from it? How can I turn lemons into lemonade and actually profit from these moves? And I think a lot of Main Street people, the layman person who is maybe intimidated by the idea of participating in the markets, trading, for example, doesn't realize it's a few techniques you can learn and practice and get really good at. It's a skill you can develop, and then it serves you well for the rest of your life. Because imagine being able to make money in just a few minutes a day. You could change your life, and it doesn't matter then what's happening that is uncertain in the world. To make my point, one of my favorite markets to trade is crude oil. Crude oil is a chart, and you can call it Apple Computer or whatever. It's crude oil. It's a commodity, and you push a button to buy, you push a button to sell. It's that simple. And our 3 sessions this week, all were winning sessions. First trade or second trade hit our goals. Bing, bang, boom. So nothing's really changed from my point of view. When I look back a year ago to this day, practically in April last year, crude oil futures were trading in the exact same price range that they are today, around $70, $71 a barrel. Look back another year. Guess what? Crude oil was trading in the same range it is today. And how was the world different 2 years ago or even just 1 year ago? I mean, right?
Right.
You all know.
Right.
But what's really changed? The markets go up, the markets go down. I have this saying that helps clear things up for people, and this is this concept that the price action, the price of something, can't hide from you, can't hide from itself. It is what it is, and it's always right there in front of us. And it tells a story. It tells a story of the collective psychology of humanity, all the buyers, all the sellers, all the people on the sideline that enter and exit the markets at any given time. And we're talking how many millions of people every day, right? And it creates these repetitive patterns, price patterns. And because they're repetitive, we can predict what's likely to happen next. And that makes for a great trade. And so it's really easy to learn how to focus in and learn one of these patterns. It doesn't take much time. And then learn how to become successful with it. And that's basically what I focus on with all the members and the people that come to me to learn how to trade.
Yeah, I remember sitting in your presentation. You did a presentation for us on the cruise, and it was awesome. I mean, everybody was just blown away by it. You broke out your computer, you put it up on the screen, and I was wondering. I mean, so you've got the free online training coming up that people could click the link on to register for. Can you just give us a little bit of an insight, maybe something akin to what you did with us? Can you walk us through a bit how you approach this? I mean, obviously most of us are not traders. We've never done this before. It's a little bit like, we see the market's roller coaster going up and down, and so we just don't know what to quite do. And I just remember you just made it so clear and so concise, and I said, oh wait, I could do that. That's so neat. I don't know, could you walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, I could try. Well, I have to give a little context. When I started trading, I didn't know anything either. And I got recruited early on into one of the early online trading education firms. When the internet just started coming into our lives, I was sitting in on webinars. I just had a lot of success with the dot-com boom, but then suffered some crushing defeats with the dot-com bust. And I realized I had some things I needed to learn still. And I learned these concepts. Structure. What does that mean? It means knowing exactly where you're going to get in and where you're going to get out before you take a trade. So the trade becomes planned. There's this thing that we always say in the trading world: plan your trade, trade your plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. It's all these little cliches that we've grown up with, but they're so true when it comes to trading. So I started hosting a live trade room in those early years, and it was pressure packed because everyone was hanging on my every word. And when a trade happens, like we had talked about a little while ago, it feels rather uncomfortable because it's easy to see the trades that already happened, and you can imagine yourself taking those and making all this money. But in real life, you're placing a trade not knowing what's going to happen next. And that's what gives people problems, because it represents insecurity, which on a primal level, again, there's that threat against your survival that causes you to want to run away from that and stop that. So you do everything wrong. And so you have to learn how to rise above that and not be afraid of the outcome of a trade. And so I always shift everyone's focus. My program's called the CEO Trader Mastermind, because it's designed to take a person trying to trade, which is what we all start out as. But people don't make good traders because we're wired to run away from a threat, right? And uncertainty, not knowing the future, peel away the onion layers, and it ultimately represents a threat because we're insecure. We don't know what's going to happen next. That's what causes people problems. So I teach people how to rise above that, to prove a trade plan, rules that you follow every day, the same thing every day, like running any other business. It tells you exactly what you're going to trade and how you're going to trade it every day. And you prove that trade plan will make you money, and you learn a few techniques. It's like learning a piano scale. You learn it slow at first until you can do it really fast. It takes you a little time. That doesn't make you a musician, though. So the other thing I teach is how to become successful with that technique. And that's what the mastermind is all about. And that's what the live training is all about. It shows you the framework that we use, and it helps shed all the things that will cause us to fail, like dead skin off a snake. And we don't give it energy. We just let it fall away. And instead we focus on what we can control. And we cannot control what the price is going to do next, which is what gives people problems, but we surrender to that. It's okay. We don't need to control that. What we can control is only placing a trade that's part of a trade plan we've been able to prove through various steps will make us money and we'll reach our financial goals. All we have to do is follow that plan. And we learn how to do that, just like you learn any other skill with repetition.
And you have a program that's almost like a simulator, right? I mean, you show people how to make trades without actually using their money at first, correct?
Yeah. Yes. There's a process where there's price charts, right? The price charts are usually provided by a broker, and there's two particular charting platforms that we recommend that my strategies work on. And what my strategies are able to do is identify a specific pattern that happens over and over so often that we can predict what's likely to happen next. And it'll print right on your chart where you get in, where your targets are, where your stop loss is in case you're wrong, it goes against you, you get out with a small loss. That's okay. That's part of the process too. You go 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and you can hit your financial goals like that with very minimal risk. And so that's what we focus on. We focus on proving the trade plan, learning how to execute it every day, and then we earn the rights of passage to start trading with real money. So part of the process is learning it in a simulation account, much like a pilot would learn how to fly a plane in a flight simulator.
Yeah,
it's
that's what I thought was so cool, because I remember one of the things I was worried about was like, I don't want to learn how to trade the way you learn how to swim. Somebody throwing you in the pond and and you're choking there. I mean, it's like when you started showing kind of the simulation that you can practice on first, and then once you've mastered it, then get into the game as it were. I just thought that was really cool. It just took away so much of the risk.
All the risk, because there's always risk when you trade. But you're only risking the small amount that you're putting on that trade, which should be a very small fraction of the risk capital that you have to trade with.
Right.
And so let's say I have $10,000 to trade with. I'm going to recommend to myself that I only risk 2% of my trading capital on any given trade. And the trade has to be part of a trade plan that I've already proven that the rules say, hey, here's the next trade. Right. So what could I risk with $10,000? 2%. I could risk $200. I could risk $200 on that trade. So imagine then you're winning more, you're losing some, but you lose less when you lose. You win a lot more when you win, and you're slowly growing your account, and you grow it up to $15,000. Well, guess what? Now I get to give myself a raise, and I can now risk $300 instead of $200. I have a slightly larger position. Same trades. Same everything, same percentage of risk. The water level's growing, the account's growing. My risk is staying the same as a ratio, but the position size grows with it. So imagine getting to the point where you're able to, you turn that $10,000 into $50,000, and now you could risk $1,000 a trade. And you're the exact same trades. You're not working any harder.
Keeps compounding. Yeah,
that's the magic. And so I always say, if you could, what I teach is one of the parts of the training. It's called the Capital Growth Workshop that we offer as a bonus to the training. But it basically shows you how to take $50 a day. If you can make $50 a day as an average net profit, netting out all wins and losses, you end up with $50 a day per contract. As you continually grow that position, you can turn that into a $10,000 a month income.
Wow.
Through power compounding and more. I mean, it goes beyond that once, a lot depends on how much you're starting with and certain things, but it's a formula that you can follow no matter what level you're at that teaches you the power of compounding, Einstein's eighth wonder of the world.
I'm not
going to argue with Warren Buffett, and I'm not going to argue with Einstein either.
Gang, this is why I love talking with Troy, because it doesn't matter the volatility, it doesn't matter the uncertainty. He always just has this way of being able to rise above it and transcend it and show people how they can capitalize, whether the market's going up or whether it's going down. And he's going to show you how to do it. All you have to do is just click on the link below and join Troy's free training to equip yourself with the knowledge and strategies that can transform your financial future. Do not let inaction or analysis paralysis or whatever be your downfall. Click the link in the description below to reserve your spot today. It's an online free training, so you can enjoy it from the comfort of your own couch. But I can tell you, as one who has sat in on Troy's free trainings, you are going to love this. You're not going to want to miss this. This is something that's very special, and it really is going to bless your life. So make sure you click on that link below and join today. So, Troy, thanks so much for bringing some clarity in the midst of all this chaos. It's you always do, so very appreciated.
It's been my pleasure. Just want to tell all your listeners, don't worry. Look at this as a chance to turn lemons into lemonade. Let's profit from these great moves. It's not that hard. You just got to take that first step, start learning. You'll be amazed at how fast you'll get it.
It's awesome. Yeah,
So
make sure to click the link below. Absolutely. Thank you, man.